So I know a lot of you guys are like me and you much prefer to do your sequencing on a hardware sequencer such as the Akai MPC. But what happens when you want to add other tracks of other types of instruments like guitars or maybe vocals? You obviously can't do that in the MPC. You're going to have to do that in some kind of a recorder or a DAW. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you a way to have MPC be the master controller for your Reaper DAW. Alright, to set up Reaper to receive synchronization from the MPC, you first need to make sure that your USB MIDI card is found by Reaper. So if you go into Options and Preferences, go to MIDI Devices, which I'm already here. It should bring up your MIDI device. Here's mine. And if you right click, you need to make sure that it's the device is enabled. Click Apply and OK, and that way Reaper can see your USB MIDI device. Next thing you got to do is go to your transport bar, right click the play button, and that's going to bring up the external timecode synchronization window. And in here you can find your device and the type of timecode that you're going to use. This is my device, USB 2.0 MIDI, and I'm using MIDI timecode, so I'll select that. And then you click here, Enable Synchronization to Timecode. And there's an option to have that function on the playback and the recording. I usually leave them both checked because I want synchronization all the time. Everything else in here you really don't have to worry about. It's for more complex type of synchronizations. Just close out of that and it'll be saved. And now, if you look up here, your play button now has a sync marker on it. And if you click to play, the button goes green as it normally does, but Reaper isn't actually playing right now. What it's doing is it's waiting for timecode. It's waiting for MIDI timecode sync from the MPC. And now I'll go ahead and show you how to set up the MPC-2000 to send MTC to Reaper. Alright, here's the MPC-2000. You're going to hit Shift 9 and that's going to take you to the synchronization screen where you have sync in and out commands. We want to send synchronization out. So we're going to go over to sync out and find which output we want it to be on. I'm going to have mine on set on B. That's the output that I like to send timecode down. I use a separate cable. As you can see back here, I've got my A MIDI output for my song sequence data, and I've got my B MIDI output only for synchronization signals. The reason I do that is because it seems like Reaper picks up the synchronization better that way. The mode, you can send out different kinds of synchronization signals. MIDI timecode is the one to use for this type of application. The frame rate just defaults to 25, don't worry about that, and you don't need MIDI machine control or anything. So now that those settings are made, you can just shift F1, get it back in song mode, and now the Akai is ready to send its MIDI timecode out to Reaper, and we'll look at how that works. One thing I must mention here is that you have to set up your Reaper session and your sequence on the MPC to be the same beats per minute. Right here I've got 110 on Reaper, and if you come over here you can see I've got 110 on the MPC. If you don't have both units using the same beats per minute, there's just no point. It'll be impossible to synchronize. And just so you're all clear on what I'm doing here, the MPC is now the master. Reaper is the slave. The sequence that I have in the MPC-2000 right now will be output via MIDI. It'll come into my MX8 MIDI patch bay, and from there it gets sent out to my Roland S760 sampler, where most of the sounds will come from. in fact, everything except for a piano patch, which is coming out of this JV1010. So all of that audio from those units are coming back into the mixer. The JV1010 is on 4. The output, stereo output of the S760 is on 7 and 8. So everything you hear except for the guitar is being played out of the MPC as a sequence. The guitar is on Reaper, and it's going to be in perfect synchronization with the MPC-2000. Okay, now that Reaper is set up to receive the MIDI timecode sync from the MPC, let's press play on the MPC and watch it all work. So I press play, and you can see that Reaper is now chasing MIDI timecode sync. And if you look down, you'll see that it is indeed chasing along. And these two tracks up here are a couple of a Telecaster tracks. The sound you're hearing right now is all coming off the Roland S760. You can see the outputs there. You can see that Telecaster track is in perfect time with the sequence from the MPC. Okay, now you're controlling Reaper with the MPC's transport controls. You can use play, start, play, or stop. The record buttons on the MPC don't control Reaper, but I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So let's just go ahead and stop this. Okay, you can see that we stopped the MPC, and the position it's at is bar 36. And over on Reaper, you can see that it's also stopped at bar 36. And it's actually gone into the pause mode. So if you hit play on the MPC, Reaper will resume at that point. So I'm going to hit stop. Right there, stopped on bar 41. Actually caught it a little shy, so it's actually bar 40 and a few beats off. So the stop on the MPC actually works as the pause on Reaper. Play start works the same as it always does on the MPC. It'll take you right back to the start of the sequence. And I'll do that now. I'll hit play start and you'll see it bounce back. See, it bounced right back to the first of the sequence. Now, since Reaper is slaved to the MPC at this point, we can't use the traditional Reaper interface. I can't just click somewhere and have Reaper go to that point, because it's now a slave. It's being controlled by the MPC-2000. So in order to play from a certain point, you need to find that. Let's say like, I don't know, bar 41. If we want to go there, the way to do that is to come over to the MPC and either use your cursor to move over here, use your jog wheel, go up to 41. You can also use the locate. You can bar down, bar up that way and step through that way. But all you have to do is just go to that the bar you want to go to in that screen in song mode, and then hit play on the MPC-2000, and it'll play from bar 41. So here's bar 41. I'm going to hit play, and there it is. It takes it just a little bit to sync up, but it basically plays from that bar. And next I'll show you how to go into record mode and make that synchronize. So So right here at the top of my Reaper session, I've added an empty channel, an empty track. I'm going to set this to stereo input to take the composite stereo input from the sampler, the S760 that I'm using, and the JV1010. It's all coming into this mixer, which is a USB sound card, 2 channels, and it's going to come in stereo onto this track. I'm going to record arm this track and then get this ready to record. If you're in sync, like I said, this is not gonna do anything. When you hit record, what happens is you get this. It's now armed, a big red flashing box. It's telling you it's armed and waiting to record. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play start to get the MPC to play the track from the top, and it's going to be recorded right here on the first track in perfect synchronization to the rest of this session. All right, here I go. And you can see it's recording, and it's perfectly in time. Turn the volume up a little. So right now I'm recording on track 1 from my samplers, and you're going to hear a playback of this previously recorded Telecaster guitar track, and it'll be in perfect synchronization. Stop recording, just hit stop on the MPC to stop that sequence. Excuse me, stop to stop that sequence. You also have to hit stop on Reaper. It won't accept that stop for some reason, I don't know. Then of course you'll save all as usual. And there's our newly recorded track. I can go out of sync mode just for a second to let Reaper go on its own and play this back, and you'll see that this newly laid down track from the sequencer will be in perfect time with these previously recorded track. Let me just go here and play it. See, it's perfectly synced up. And that's how you sync up Reaper and an MPC.